Hello folks, I hope you're doing well today. Whatever day this is, it's at the moment it's 10:31 p.m. on the 2nd of the 4th, 2020. But this video is going to be on the stupidity surrounding this coronavirus or coronavirus situation. The reason why I say stupidity, I've just watched a video on YouTube which was rather unfortunate really. A lady who was a sheep farmer up in Scotland was complaining that there was a chap walking his dog on her field, and it just happened to be lambing season. But what she was most upset about was the fact that we had this coronavirus, and because the bloke was in her field, he may have touched a gate or a sty, and if any of the farmers then touched that gate or sty, that they could get the virus. But that is most likely, can't say for certain, that is most likely utter stupidity. Because obviously these sties are outdoors. Certainly Scotland for a good while now has been very windy. It rains a lot. It's windy a lot. We're getting towards the springtime, so it's now sunny. Now we know in the sunshine the virus doesn't do very well at all. It dies very quickly. We know that if someone touches a bit of wood outside and it's windy, the virus is going to be blown off. It's not going to actually be staying there, is it? Especially if it is as windy as it has been recently up here. If rain or any moisture goes on that bit of wood, the virus is going to be washed away. So we also know normally the virus doesn't last very long once it's off the hand. So if someone's touched something, if somebody touches the bonnet of your car, the virus may stay there for, if your car is, say, in your garage and someone goes in and touches it and then closes the garage door so no fresh air can get in, the virus will be dead at the latest within 12 hours. It won't survive because of the fact it needs that moist, warm place that the lungs give it. The breathing area for it to multiply, and something nice and moist and warm is what it needs. So anywhere where it's not moist, it's not warm, it's not going to like it. It can deal with cold and moist. That's fine. It can cope in that as well as it can in any sort of weather conditions. But outside, it's not going to survive very long at all. It's not something you can catch through airborne. It's something that you have to touch your mouth to, or someone could cough in your face and you get it because it would go around your mouth area. And it get through your mouth down into your system, into your lungs as you breathe it in, and it loves that. So there's all this fear and stupidity. I mean, I made comments on it, and one of the comments I made was because the lady was saying that the government have said you're not to get in your car and go to a field else, out of your area and take your dog for a walk. Well, actually, the government didn't say that. The police said that. The police have no authority to make laws. So the police are saying that they consider that is not within what the government have said. Well, excuse me, sorry. I don't care really what you consider. Your job is to protect the public and to obey the law. The law as it's written, not what you think it should be. Not as you interpret it. Your job is not to interpret the law. The same as a Christian. It's not my job to interpret the Bible into a way that I see fit. It's written, that's what it says, that's what it is. It's not my job to say, well, I think that what they're saying is that means blah, 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 because I'm making that interpretation based upon my life experience, not based upon the word. So a police officer is not going to be basing their opinion on the law, based on the law. It'll be based around their experience of life. And the problem is that we are finding at the moment that the rather dodgy coppers are the ones that are taking advantage of this and fining people for stupid reasons. But then when you have people like this, and it was Guardian News that did the report, and again, Guardian is a newspaper, so whether it is the same Guardian News, I don't know. I imagine it probably is. Otherwise, I imagine that they've been told to use a different name. It probably is that newspaper that's done this. Again, that's spreading fear based around really lies. Misinformation at best. Misinformation is still untruth, and untruth really is lies. Yeah, you may be lying without knowing you're lying because you've got the wrong information. It doesn't matter, you're still lying because you believe a lie that you were told. Someone else said something that was misinformation. Well, you believe that and you've just spouted that without actually having anything to actually base that on. So, yeah, we have to be sensible about this stuff. Yeah, of course. What would be safest? If you go out of your house, don't meet anyone, get in your car, drive your car to a field a few miles away. Remember, you're not getting out of the car until you get to the field. You get to the field miles away. You take your dog out. You go for a walk. Back in the car, back home. Chances are you're not going to meet anyone. Right? The alternative is what this woman believes the government said. What she's saying the government said, which is really what the police have said, is that you're supposed to take your dog for a walk around your area, around where you live. Now, the problem is, if you've got a number of dog owners, or even people just wanting to have some exercise, you're going to be bumping into people left, right, and centre. You're going to be passing people. You're going to be passing points. Like if you want to cross the road, you've got to press the button to cross the road. How many people have pressed that button? What's the chances that someone who's had the virus has pressed that button? So, in what situation, therefore, in the two situations there, get in your car, dog in the car, driving to a field, or walking your dog around your area, which is going to be more likely that you're going to be a spreader of the virus or you're going to get the virus? Which is more likely to be a problem? Well, it's obvious. When you're in the car, you're not meeting anyone. If you've got the virus and you cough a load, you're coughing into your own car. You're not infecting anyone else. And when you cough into your own car, that's going to die within 12 hours anyway. It's not going to linger in your car for months and weeks. So that after the virus is apparently gone, someone gets in your car and, oh dear, they've caught the virus. So 6 months blinking later, you get in your car, that's probably the safest place for you and everyone else. In all honesty. Because you're in this metal and glass thing that is really protecting you and everyone else from you and everyone else. That's what it is. It's pretty much airtight. If someone coughs outside, you're not going to get it. Well, unless they know exactly where the air filtration system is and cough directly into that as you're driving along, which is incredibly unlikely. They will have to run the risk of jumping in front of the car, diving onto the car at the right time, lifting the bonnet up. You've got all this engine going around, but they just get their head in the right area and breathe in the air intake or cough into it, and then you might get that. But that's very unlikely to happen. It's more likely that you're walking around your area with your dog. I mean, as I said to people, if somebody touches your dog and they have the virus, you've got a problem. Because you might not even know that they're touching your dog. If you come into contact with a few people, you're talking to those people from a distance, right? You're keeping your eye on them. Like me, because I've got 5 dogs, I'm keeping an eye on 5 dogs. If someone comes and touches one of my dogs, strokes it, I don't necessarily know that's happened. I go home, I stroke my dog, I've now got the virus without even knowing. That's what happens when you go walking in public, in a public area. When you go walking in an area that's more secluded, you're not going to have that. Nowhere near as likely. So if we want to be talking about social distancing, you can't get better than a field that's 20 odd miles away from anyone else. That's really social distancing, but you've got to get in your car to do that. Walking around your local park where everyone else is doing the same thing is not social distancing, really. At some point, you're going to have to try and move away from other people. So, no, that doesn't make sense. But that's the utter stupidity that you get, and that's all because of the fact that the police want to find people. I mean, part of the reason it could simply be a case that because the government are shelling out a ton of money, well, because they're going to have to, because they've said, and most governments have said the same, that self-employed workers, the government will have to pay their wages for the foreseeable future until they can get back to work. Now, in the end, where's that money going to come from? How are they going to get that money back? Maybe through fines, for fining people for going out and doing the most sensible thing. If you're going to walk your dog, driving away from where people are to do so. But let's fine people for doing that. Let's fine people for going into a shop and buying what the shop is selling. In case you didn't hear the video the other day, there were police fining people for buying a Easter egg. No, I'm all for stopping Easter eggs. I don't, from a Christian point of view, they have no relevance. And actually, folks, Easter has no relevance to Christianity at all. It's not a Christian festival, it's a pagan festival. It was a festival to carry over the spring solstice. That's why you have things like bunnies and stuff like that, and chicks. It's all about, birthing, all that sort of stuff. Whereas Easter is about the death and resurrection. Could be counted as a rebirth, I suppose, if you want to push it towards birth. But no, it's about it was originally worshipping the god Esther. And they just added a letter from Esther to Easter. And it's a pagan festival, Esther. So they just continued the festival, but it was when the Catholics took over and they were trying to force pagans to be Catholics. They took over a lot of the festivals. Yeah. So, that's what happened, and it's got nothing to do with Christianity at all. Because think about it in this sense. We know that Yeshua, after he was crucified, he spent 3 days and 3 nights in hell. The same time as Jonah was in the belly of the whale. Now, he was resurrected on the Sunday. That's when he was next seen, on the Sunday. So count back from Sunday, 3 days and 3 nights. You don't get Thursday. So Good Friday. Sorry, you don't get Friday. So Good Friday is rubbish. It's nonsense. Nothing to do with Christianity at all. He would have been resurrected. He would have been resurrected on the Saturday, but he would have been crucified on Thursday, not Friday. So this Good Friday rubbish. And also, we know that the date of Easter changes anyway. Easter is not set in time. It's one date. It changes. So how on earth can that be the date that he was? No, absolute rubbish. Need to drop it out of the church calendar. Same as Christmas. Christmas is utter rubbish. Got nothing to do with the birth of Christ. He wasn't born in December. He was born at lambing season. Now, what is this season we're in now? Including Israel. When is lambing season in Israel? December? No, now. So it's more likely that Yeshua was born at a time that we call Easter. Anyway, that's just from the Easter egg. The police doing about the Easter egg. Well, they find someone for buying a birthday card because it's counted as non-essential. Because the government said, you're allowed to go and get your shopping for the essential things that you need. It was a flippant remark when the Prime Minister said for the essential things you need. Of course you're allowed to go and get shopping. You're allowed to go and buy whatever the shop is flipping selling. I mean, the supermarkets, they don't just sell food, they sell other stuff. If they're not allowed to sell the other stuff, then tell them that. Tell them to stop stocking that stuff. Yeah? Instead, ordering a load more toilet rolls and other stuff that people need, cleaning products and whatever. Hazmat suits. But for the farmers, definitely, according to that woman, she needs a hazmat suit. So, have them sell that stuff instead, stuff that is actually essential for this time. Instead, no, they won't. Instead, they pick on the lowly people, the people that can't really fight back, and they fine them for buying non-essential stuff. And it's like, well, who's to say what's essential? What's essential to one person isn't necessary to someone else. And actually, while you're at the shop, why not get something else? You're here. But now the police say, well, the law says you can't do that. Shut up. Where are we supposed to be living? In China or Russia? Some communist state? Where the law comes in and tells you what you can and cannot flipping buy? Even though you're in a shop that sells other stuff? You can't buy it? It's like China saying the internet can't really be in China unless it's only showing the things that China wants to show. But if that's the case, don't show any of it. Twitter, Facebook, none of these organisations should have anything to do with China. Don't allow the products to be in China. YouTube, not in China. If they don't want everything shown, show nothing. If you can't buy everything in a supermarket, shut the flipping supermarket down. Shut all the shops down. Stop fining people over ridiculous flipping things. It's utter stupidity. And it's out of order. Certainly is out of order for the authorities to be doing that. I mean, that's bang out of order. It's nasty business, especially because we're the police. And if you argue with us, we'll just arrest you. Over what? Over saying, no, you're wrong. And you're out of order for doing what you're doing. But excuse me, when you tell us that we're out of order and we need to stop doing something, can we arrest you for that? There's something called a citizen's arrest. So you could, in theory, arrest a police officer. Even when their fellow officer is standing there. You could say, I'm arresting you. It's a citizen's arrest. And the fellow officer would have to abide by that. Because it is within law, certainly in a lot of countries, for a citizen's arrest. And whether it is, you can arrest a dodgy copper. Or a copper who's trying to put a little faster on you, trying to fine you for purchasing something you have every flipping right to purchase. Make sure that they bring the commanding officer down to deal with you arresting that copper. That'd be interesting. When you go to court, I was trying to perform a citizen's arrest, but then the police decided that I was being out of order and they forced me to the ground. Sorry, folks, I imagine you understand that I have no respect for the police at all. None. None whatsoever. I don't respect them in any way, shape, or form. And the reason is quite simple. I'm the first to say most police officers are going to be quite decent people. They're going to be doing their job and just doing their job. The problem is there's a percentage of them that are not that. They're nasty, they're dodgy, they're corrupt, they're crooked, and they're quite evil. They love the power that they have over people, and that is something that should never be respected. Absolutely never. But that's what it is, isn't it? That's life. A lot of people say you should see the glass as half full. Well, the problem is, if you're looking at people in authority, if you see that 50% or whatever percent, 10% are bad, 90% are good, but the problem is the good don't ever want to highlight the bad or get rid of the bad, then it's all bad. You've at least got to see it as bad, because the bad wear the same uniforms as the good, so you don't know which ones you're getting when you're faced with them. You have to assume you're getting the bad. So I'll tell you what, folks, if you assume you're getting the good and you get the bad, you're going to regret it. You could end up in prison, charged with offences that you didn't commit. Because there are coppers out there, police officers out there, in every country who would do that, who would abuse their position, and try and get convictions of people, even when they know that person is innocent. There are some officers out there that don't care. So the problem is, we don't know who those ones are, so we have to assume that whichever one we face could be those ones. As well as the fact that we are guilty until we prove ourselves innocent in their eyes, it has to be the other way around as well. They must be guilty in our eyes until they prove themselves as good officers. We have to assume they're not. We just have to assume that. For our own sake, and for the sake, like for example, something I didn't realise until I got quite a lot older, that if you witness an event, where someone gets arrested, if the police believe that the person who's innocent is actually guilty, and they ask you for a statement, don't give them a statement. If you give them a statement, you now can't give the defence's team a statement. In a lot of countries, that is the case. Once you give a statement to the police, you can't give a statement to the other side. And the police can decide to chuck your statement in the bin, basically. It's not useful to their case. They're saying this person called Bob is guilty. You're saying you saw the other person attack Bob. Bob didn't do anything at all. But that doesn't really fit with their remit. So they're getting rid of your statement. They don't want that. They're not going to tell the defence that they've even got it. Because by law, they don't have to. Not at all. But you can decide not to give a statement to the police, and then you can give your statement to the defence. But once you give a statement to the police, you can't then go and give a statement to the other side. By law, you can't do that. And it might be different in your country, but I think certainly in the case of the UK, that's the case. So, but of course, they won't tell you that. They're clever. They want convictions. That's the point. Because if you're a police officer and you get loads of convictions, you get a chance of promotion. And they're just the same as everyone else. They like their promotions. They like their positions and their money and all that lot. And if they get a promotion, they get another stripe, and they get more money. They get better retirement. So all in all, they like that sort of stuff. Now we need to understand that when we deal with them. And any dealings, like for example, if a police officer is being attacked, and you come in to defend that police officer, You can be done for assault, and you would. In a lot of cases, you would be done for assault, even though you're coming in to defend someone you know is a police officer who could be being attacked by a load of people. You fight off these other people to protect that person, and you could be done for assaulting those people. The police officer that you've just helped, that person often won't stand up in your favour. Because if they do that, it stops the officers who are trying to prosecute you from getting their little tick. So, yeah, this is all stupidity. And it's all come from that video I watched earlier today. But these are the things. It's like, yeah, okay, there's that leads to that, leads to that, leads to that. So, there you go. It's worldly stupidity, I think we'll call this. Christianity, worldly stupidity. But this is the world we live in, and it is utterly stupid at times. Really is. All these things I mentioned are ridiculously flipping stupid. Ridiculous. We shouldn't have police officers who are corrupt at all. We should have a situation where if the police expect us to snitch on the bad guys, they should be prepared to do exactly the same, but they're not. Not in any way, shape, or form. They won't do it because it looks bad on the police for them to do it. And if someone does snitch, quite often, like we see in telly programs or police programs, anyone who does snitch is given a hard life for a long time. The police say they don't trust them. Excuse me, that person was obeying the blinking law. That person was responsible for getting people off the police who weren't obeying the law. So he was doing a far better job than the rest of them, and yet the rest of them judge that person, saying, we can't trust you because if we do something illegal, you might put us forward for being arrested. Well, then don't you think that person is right for doing that? If you do something illegal, you should be arrested, because if I do something illegal, you're going to want to arrest me, aren't you? Yeah, they're hypocrites. Absolute hypocrites, these people. Yeah, they think that they're above the rest of us, and it's like, oh, God, no. You're supposed to be public servants. That's what you're supposed to be. Yeah, you're there to honour the law, not to make it up as you go, to serve your will and your way. They're like mini gods, the whole lot of them. Yeah, it's just wrong. But it's just stupid. It's things that we've fallen into. I mean, we go back to, we know certainly by TV programs in the 60s and 70s, police were quite abusive. Yeah, they would beat the crap out of people on the streets. Yeah. Now, we've gone away from that a bit. But the problem is we've still got dodgy police officers. They're just not as obvious as they were. But now we accept this level of dodgy because it's not that level of dodgy that was right in your face. It's like, no. Not in it. Look, if you have the situation, if the situation has to be acceptable, that if one police officer dies, then you have police from, all over the area, different counties or states. The police forces are coming out, trying to find the person that killed this police officer. If that's going to happen, if you're going to put yourselves as higher than the rest, then you need to be held to a higher level than the rest. Because you're saying we are worth so much more than you, that when one of us dies, the police officers from all over the region have to come out and help us to find the person guilty. Because you killed a police officer. Right? No, nobody should kill police officers, but then again, nobody should kill bin men. Nobody should kill shop assistants. Nobody should kill anybody. Every life is worth the same as everyone else. So, if the police forces come out for the death of one police officer, they should all come out for the death of every single person. The problem is there won't be enough police to do that. So therefore, you believe, as a police force, that you are worth more than other people as individuals, in that if that's the case, you need to be held to a higher level than the rest of us. So, yeah. Anyway, that's my rant for the day, I think. There wasn't really anything else I was going to bring today. Not really. I didn't really have anything else coming. So that was it. Well, I had again the point that, in the end, we are responsible for ourselves, and we're accountable for our own decisions, etc., etc. As Christians, and we'll be held accountable for that stuff when we meet God. Something else I got though, the other day, which was an interesting point, and that is, if we are held accountable for our sins, even though there are others that have parts to play in our sinning, but if we're held accountable on our own for the sins that we commit, we're the only ones guilty. Why is it anything good we do, God gets all the credit? Why don't we get any credit for that? Any at all? Why shouldn't we? Because if the bad we do, we get slammed for that. Yeah, that's down to us, and we have to repent for all the bad things we did because we did them. Then the good we do, because, okay, put it this way, the bad we do, it could be said that the devil is working for us, right? So shouldn't the devil be blamed for that? Because when God works for us, God gets all the credit. So why doesn't the devil get all the blame? It's the same as we have choice to listen to the devil, we also have a choice to listen to God. Now, where I'm going there, I'm not saying that God doesn't deserve any credit, because of course he does. I'm simply saying that I, for one, in the past, have always said that anything good I say, the credit goes to God, not to me. But that's not quite true. I'm realizing that now. That isn't quite true. And if you have people of God who are serving God, and where God is using them in magnificent ways, even in just lovely ways, mild ways, whatever, they get some credit for that. And they should get some credit for that. Because they didn't have to say yes. And a lot of people don't say yes. And they don't have to say yes every day they said yes. Because again, a lot of people don't. A lot of people just don't do that. And should do that. Now, of course we should. We should all do that every day, but we don't always do that, do we? We might miss some days. So people that serve God, people that are saying yes to God, do actually should get some credit for that, yes. Because they have done good. It's not just God doing it, it's them doing it as well. Now, that's something I didn't realise for a long time. I was always the opposite of saying, no, anything good comes from God, anything bad is of you. Well, I'm realising, no, that isn't true. We are held responsible for our sins because of the fact that although the devil may tempt us, we decide whether we accept that temptation or not. The same as if God says, tempts us to do something good, it's still temptation. It's still tempting us to do good. Saying, I want you to pray for that person over there. I'm going to heal them. We still have to say, yeah, I'm going to stand on that. We can say no. We can let fear in, and we can say no. Last time I prayed for someone, it didn't work, so I'm not going to do that. So we're not being obedient to God when God has told us to go and do something. Asked or given us the opportunity to be used for his purpose. So yeah, alright, the understanding is improving slightly, bit by bit, I do suppose. It's the only way we can go, isn't it, really? I'd rather learn quicker, but to learn at all is something we should be grateful for. There's 35 minutes now into this video. That's enough. There's been a lot of waffling. I mean, you know, talked about the worldly stupidity, so there's a lot of that. So there you go. Right, you take care, folks. God bless, and I will speak to you soon.